all about the joiner. And to help me learn about this subject, we have a special guest host, Miss Glaze! Alright, so today we're talking about the joiner. A joiner is a woodworking tool, and its main purpose is to give you a nice straight edge on a board. And so if you get rough cut lumber right from the sawmill, right, you can't just hop onto all your other saws because you're not going to have a nice smooth flat edge. And so the point of the joiner is going to give you that smooth edge, so then you can take this over to your table saw and you make your cuts, or your other saws, and you make that cut, you're going to have a nice starting point. Because if I started on this really crooked edge, when I try to use that on the fence in my table saw, it's going to be all over the place. And so that is the point of using a joiner. A joiner is one of the more dangerous tools in the shop. It's one of those that if you touch it in the wrong spot, your finger's gone instantly. And so you got to be careful. You don't want to play with the danger end, basically, of the tool. And so underneath this red cap, that's why it's red, and that's why it always swings back and it covers over the blades. But underneath this is your blades, right? And so basically you don't want to get your fingers in here because this thing is spinning super fast, has a whole bunch of teeth, and so what happens is it's going to pull your hand in there and just grind it up like a meat grinder. So again, this is one of the more dangerous tools of the shop. You want to be careful, but at the same time it is an essential woodworking tool, and so if you use it right, you're safe. It's just you got to be paying attention. So always make sure you turn it off if it's not in use. Never walk away with it on, and always make sure that this is always coming back. If you ever notice that this isn't swinging back on its own, come find me and we'll have to adjust it. It should always cover over the blade. But again, just like all the other tools, don't touch the teeth, you keep your fingers, right? So just make sure you aren't doing that. And so when you run this tool, it makes a lot of sawdust. There's going to be a lot of wood chips. And so we have our dust collection hooked up to it. So always make sure you have some form of dust collection. And so also, with all our tools, when you're using them, you've got to wear your safety protection. So we'll put on your eyeglasses. And then this one's pretty loud, and so you might want to use your hearing protection for this one. So it's pretty simple as far as how it turns on and off. There's two buttons to the thing. There's a big green button that says start, and then there's a big paddle that says off. And it's a big paddle, so if you have to shut it off, you just hit it with your fist, and you can turn it off really quick. And also the start button is a pretty hard click, so it's very intentional to turn it on, just safety features. When pushing your material through the joiner, how the blade spins is it's spinning towards you. And so the direction the wood wants to go by the force of the blade is backwards. And so when you're pushing your material through, you want to keep down pressure to make sure it stays nice and flat, and also you want to make sure you're maintaining pressure forward. You don't want to let it shoot backwards. The main danger besides the blade is kickback, which means the board would just shoot backwards. So don't stand directly behind it. You don't want to stand here, because if that did, it's really going to hurt. So you want to stand to the side, and again, maintain pressure that way. If you have a shallow board, this one we have enough we can keep our fingers up above all the fences and we'll stay safe. But say your board is shorter, you can use these paddles that are with it and use that to push it over the blade, just to keep your fingers safe. So use those if you have to, but otherwise it's safe to use your hand. Just make sure you keep it clear and keep that pressure the whole way through, all the way to the end. And so I'll demonstrate that one more time. When you're pushing it, you want to make sure you're staying in a good athletic stance too. You want to walk along with the board just as she did. You don't want to be leaning over, you want to stay balanced and good athletic stance so you can maintain control of the board. As you can see, this is a rough cut piece of oak, so the top edge isn't very smooth. This isn't ready to be worked with yet. And so we're going to show you how the joiner will make this perfectly smooth when it's all said and done. ahead and do one more pass. Now look how nice and smooth it went from a rough cut board to perfectly smooth and ready to be worked with. Thank you, Ms. Glaze, for helping me demonstrate how to use a joiner and its purpose. And again, it's to take rough cut lumber and give you that nice smooth edge so you can start working on your projects. And so tune in next time for our next episode of Tool Time!